He didn't realize it, but he was losing himself. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share a story. Not just any story, but something quiet, something real, something that happens to many people without them even realizing it. It's about a young man who slowly lost himself. And maybe by the end of this story, you might see a part of yourself in him. Once upon a time, in a busy city, full of noise, full of people, lived a young man. His life looked normal, nothing unusual, nothing broken. He woke up every morning, got ready, and stepped into the same routine. Work, people, conversations, responsibilities. He wasn't weak, he wasn't lazy, he wasn't a failure. In fact, he was doing everything right. He smiled when needed. He helped when asked. He stayed quiet when things felt uncomfortable. And slowly, without noticing, he started saying yes to everything, even when he wanted to say no. From the outside, he looked fine, maybe even successful, but inside, something was slowly disappearing. It didn't happen in one day. There was no big moment, no sudden breakdown, just small, almost invisible changes. Every time he ignored his thoughts, every time he chose silence, instead of speaking honestly, every time he adjusted himself to fit into someone else's expectations, he gave away a small part of who he was. At first, it didn't feel like a problem. It felt easier. It felt peaceful. It felt safe. But over time, that peace turned into emptiness, and that safety became a trap. Little by little, he stopped asking himself what he really wanted. And that's how he started losing himself. One night, after a long and exhausting day, he came home. Everything was quiet, too quiet. He walked slowly, stood in front of the mirror, and looked at himself, not casually, not briefly, but deeply. And for the first time, he felt something strange, something uncomfortable, something he couldn't ignore. The face in the mirror felt unfamiliar. He stared for a few seconds, then longer, and then he asked himself a question, a simple question, but a dangerous one. When did I become like this? That night, he couldn't sleep. He turned from one side to another, but his mind wouldn't stop. Thoughts kept coming. Memories, decisions, moments he ignored himself, moments he stayed silent, moments he walked away from what he truly felt. Everything came back, louder, clearer, and slowly, he began to understand something. Avoiding yourself doesn't make life easier. It only delays the pain. And when it returns stronger, deeper, harder to escape. And in that silence, he finally saw the truth. He wasn't lost. He had just been ignoring himself for too long. The next morning, nothing had changed outside. The same room, the same sunlight, the same world. But inside, something felt different. Not dramatic, not loud, just different. For the first time in a long time, he didn't rush. He didn't distract himself. He didn't run away from his thoughts. He simply sat there and listened, not to the noise around him, but to himself. And that moment, small as it seemed, changed everything. He didn't suddenly become perfect. He didn't transform overnight. There was no big speech, no dramatic change, just one decision, a quiet one, a simple one. I won't ignore myself anymore. And from that point, things started to change, slowly. He began to notice his thoughts. He began to question his habits. He began to choose, even in small ways. And those small choices started building something new, something real, something that actually belonged to him. This story teaches us something important. You don't lose yourself all at once. You lose yourself in small compromises, in quiet moments when you choose comfort over truth. But the same way, you can find yourself again, not with a big change, but with one honest decision. So ask yourself, right now, are you living your life or just playing a role? Because one day, you might look in the mirror and ask the same question. When did I become like this?
Every story you heard today is proof that change is possible. No matter where you are now, your next chapter is still unwritten. Subscribe to Moonlight Scripts and begin your story today.